What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my December 21st NCAA Bracketology Predictions. So anyway, let's dive right into the movement here. Let's start out with the bracket watch. The top overall seed is Purdue right now, staying at that spot. The first team out goes to NC State, and then last team in, Creighton, really has struggled as of late. They just barely find themselves in the tournament. So let's look at the bubble right now. Starting with the last four byes, we have New Mexico, Penn State, TCU, and Texas Tech. The last four in, we have Utah, UNLV, St. John's, and Creighton. First four out, we have NC State, Oklahoma State, Boise State, and Oregon. Then the next four out, Rutgers, Missouri, Michigan, and LSU. Let's look at this 68-team bracket. Northern Kentucky stays at the 16-team. Or new to the field at 16. Creighton going to drop down to an 11, as we saw there. Nicholls State new to the field at a 16, and then Utah drops down to 11 to play St. John's. So let's look at the whole bracket. Let's start out with the South region. Purdue stays at the number one overall seed right there at the 1. Virginia Tech jumps up to a 5 seed. Texas is going to be jumping up to a 4, and Oral Roberts jumping up to a 13. Then we have Maryland dropping down to a 7, and Furman dropping down to a 15. In the East region, we have UConn at the 1 seed right there. Longwood gets new to the field at a 16 seed. We have Auburn dropping down to an 8. Michigan State's going to be jumping up to a 9 seed. Auburn really fell right there. And then Wisconsin's jumping up to a 5. West Virginia will be jumping up to a 4. Xavier jumps up to a 6 as Texas Tech drops down to 11. We have Virginia dropping down to a 3. Liberty is going to be jumping up to a 14. Ohio State drops down to a 7. New Mexico jumps up to a 10 seed. And then UCLA jumps up to a 2. In the Midwest region, Kansas, the defending champs, jump up to a 1. We have Iowa dropping down to an 8. Kentucky's going to be dropping down to a 5, as well as Florida Atlantic dropping down to a 12 seed. We have North Carolina jumping up to a 6. Gonzaga, after they beat Alabama, they're going to be jumping up to a 3. Bad Bradley drops down to a 14. We have Marquette jumping up to a 6. Kansas State's going to be jumping up to a 10. And then Alabama, as they lost to Gonzaga, drops down to a 2. In the West region, we have Arizona's going to be jumping up to a 1 seed. Grambling State jumps up to a 16. Miami drops down to an 8. Arkansas is going to be jumping up to a 4, as well as St. Louis dropping down to a 13. We have Mississippi State dropping down to a 6. Irvine's going to be dropping down to a 14. Arizona State jumps up to a 7. Penn State is going to be new to the field at a 10. And then Norfolk State jumps it to a 15. So anyway, let's get into the bracket. Starting out with the first four, we're going to have Oklahoma and Creighton for this first matchup here. Creighton's just been too inconsistent. I still believe in Creighton right now, but Oklahoma's just a little bit better right now. I'm going to take Oklahoma. And then Northern Kentucky versus Wagner. I'm going to take Northern Kentucky in that one. And then we have St. John's battling it out against Utah here. I like St. John's in that matchup. And then SIU, I think, could beat Nicholls State. So anyway, let's get into the round of 64. Starting out with Purdue battling out against Northern Kentucky. I like Purdue in that one. Iowa State versus Utah State. Give me the 8 seed Iowa State. Virginia Tech versus Sam Houston. Ooh, I really do like. I'm going to go through 12/5 upset. Virginia Tech's a solid team. Don't get me wrong, but I really do like Sam Houston as a 12 seed. They've been staying at that 12 seed for a while, and I just have a good feeling about Sam Houston. So let's go Sam Houston with the upset there over Virginia Tech. Texas, I do think, can beat Oral Roberts. Memphis battling out against Oklahoma. I'm going to take Memphis. Duke, I do think, could beat UMass Lowell. TCU, I think, could pull off the 10/7 upset over Maryland. And then Tennessee, I think, can beat Furman. Down here, we have Arizona, I think, could beat Grambling State. Miami, I think, could prevail against St. Mary's, as well as Illinois beating Kent State. Arkansas against St. Louis. Let's go with a 13/4 upset here. St. Louis, I know they dropped down and Arkansas jumped up. I'm just not a big believer in Arkansas. I'm going to be honest with Arkansas fans, and I really do like St. Louis as a program. A little bit of an underrated 13 seed, I think, right there. I think that they could pull off an upset over Arkansas. And then Charleston, I think, can pull up Mississippi State. Another one of those teams that I'm looking forward to seeing in Charleston when March Madness comes. If they can continue rolling like this, I think that they can beat Mississippi State. Not a hater towards Mississippi State. I think they're a good team, but I'm going to take Charleston there with the upset. Baylor, I do think, could beat UC Irvine. Arizona State against Penn State. We're going to have to go with Arizona State there. And then Houston, I think, could beat Norfolk State. Moving on over here, we're going to have UConn beating Longwood. Michigan State pulling off the 9/8 upset over Auburn. Wisconsin, I think, can hold on against Iona. Or, you know what? Oof. I'm going to go with Iona. I don't see another... Oops, what's going on? Didn't mean to do that, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, let's go with the 12 seed Iona. Actually, Wisconsin's a solid team, but they're just not as good as usual. I do think Iona is a solid 12 seed, so let's go with the 12/5 upset right there. And then West Virginia, I do think could beat Yale. Xavier versus Texas Tech. I'm going to go with the 11 seed Texas Tech pulling off the upset, and then Virginia, I think, could beat Liberty. New Mexico, I think, can pull off the 10/7 upset over Ohio State. And UCLA, I think, can beat Montana State. All right, let's go down here. We have Kansas versus SIUE. I'm going to go with Kansas. Iowa, I do think, can prevail against San Diego State. Kentucky against Florida Atlantic. I'm going to go with Kentucky. Indiana, I think, can beat James Madison. And then North Carolina against St. John's. Let's go with... let's go with North Carolina there. They've been playing better. Gonzaga, I do think, can beat Bradley. Marquette against Kansas State. Tough one. I like both of these teams quite a bit. I'm going to go with Marquette, though, the 7th seed. And then Alabama against Colgate. I'll go with Alabama. All right, so that is the round of 64. Let's go to the round of 32. Starting it with Purdue against Iowa State. I like Purdue in that one. Sam Houston versus Texas. Let's go with Texas. I can't go with the upset, so Texas. All right, Memphis versus Duke. Let's go with a 6/3 upset. Duke, without Coach K this season, I think it could be an upset team in the tournament. And Memphis is a good 6 seed, so let's go with Memphis there. And then Tennessee, I do think it beat TCU. Arizona, I think, can beat Miami. Illinois versus St. Louis. Let's go. Let's continue the Cinderella story. The 13 seed St. Louis beating the 5 seed Illinois. Illinois is kind of a questionable team. And then a 13 seed in St. Louis that I like quite a bit. Let's go with them to pull off a big upset again. And then Baylor, I do think, could beat Charleston. And tempted. Let's go with a 10/2 upset. I'm just raining out the upsets, I guess, today. This is a good matchup. Arizona State's a good 7 seed. Houston lost that last game. They're a good 2 seed, don't get me wrong. But I do think Arizona State can pull off a big upset over them. So we have 2 double-digit seeds in the Sweet 16 in that region. A lot of upsets going on. UConn against Michigan State. I am going to go Michigan State, the 9 seed. UConn, not a big believer in them. I don't think they're a very good 1 seed. And Michigan State, I think, is a very solid 9 seed right there. Very well-coached team. They'll be ready to face a good UConn team. So I'm going to go with Michigan State, another huge upset. And this bracket's getting crazy. Click that again. Oops, sorry about that, guys. But then West Virginia versus Iona. I am going to have to go with West Virginia there. Texas Tech versus Virginia. We're going to have to go with Virginia. And then UCLA versus New Mexico. I think New Mexico could have a chance there, but I'm going to have to go with UCLA. All right, let's go down here. We have Kansas against Iowa. I'm going to go with Kansas. Kentucky against Indiana. We're gonna go with the 5/4 upset there for Kentucky. So I do believe, is there no 4 seeds? Oh yeah, there's one. Right up there. North Carolina against Gonzaga. I'm gonna go with Gonzaga. And then Marquette versus Alabama. I'm gonna have to go with Alabama there. Yeah. All right, let's go down here. We have a matchup between Purdue and Texas. I'm gonna have to go with Purdue there to win that one. Memphis versus Tennessee. Tennessee's gonna win that one for the 2 seed. All right, down here, Arizona versus St. Louis. Don't see St. Louis's Cinderella run continuing there. And then Baylor versus Arizona State. I'm gonna have to go with Baylor to win that one as the 3 seed. Michigan State versus West Virginia. I don't see Michigan State's run continuing there. And then UCLA versus Virginia. I'm going to go with a 3/2 upset there, going with Virginia to advance onto the Elite Eight. Kansas versus Kentucky. We're going to have to go with the 1 seed Kentucky. So 3 of the 1 seeds make it to the Elite Eight here. Alabama versus Gonzaga. We're going to go with the 3/2 upset, or Alabama just beats. I think Alabama actually gets the revenge. If these 2 teams played again, Alabama would win again. Not a huge believer in Alabama, but going up against Gonzaga again, we're going to have to go with Alabama. All right, so for a spot in the Elite Eight, we have Purdue versus Tennessee. My champion last time in Purdue. Why not flip it up this time? I really do like Tennessee. I'm going to go with Tennessee to pull off the 2/1 upset right there. And then Arizona versus Baylor. Going to have to go with Arizona as the 1 seed to advance. West Virginia versus Virginia. We have 2 Virginia teams, or Virginia name teams, I guess. Let's go with the 3 seed Virginia advancing. And then we have Kansas versus Alabama. We're going to go with the 1 seed Kansas to advance on to the Final Four. So we have 1 2 seed, 2 1 seeds, and then a 1 3 seed. Tennessee versus Arizona. Let's go with Arizona to advance on to the championship game. And then we have Kansas versus Virginia. Let's go with Virginia, the 3 seed, advancing to the national championship game. So we have a battle between Arizona and Virginia. I'm going to go with Arizona, the team I picked to win the national championship last season. I think that they can get it done this time around and win the championship. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your bracketology predictions. And anyway, peace out.